Today we're going to delve into this age-old debate. Now, I'm sure many of us in the room are familiar with the book, The Long and Short of It. Now 10 years old, it offers us an analysis of the importance between brand building, long-term brand building, versus the short-term of performance marketing. And in a world where marketing strategies are continuously evolving, it's very important for us to continue to discuss how things and strategies change within this space. And let us embark on a thought-provoking discussion on this subject. And actually, I think, build upon what has been said already in the previous panel discussion, where they started to discuss some of these points already. So with me today to discuss this, I have two marketing leaders from two very different brands. I have Shreya, who is in the luxury space at Kohler and does a mixture of B2C and B2B marketing. And also Riza, who is in the FMCG space at Cussons and particularly focusing in baby and kids care. So let's delve into the discussion and kick this off. Maybe the both of you could just give me an initial thought on this to get started. Shreya?
First and foremost, thank you for having me here. I think we've been thinking about this topic for some time, and the truth is businesses today cannot have a linear approach to the brand funnel. It's not that you decide that you're going to spend on advertising awareness first and then move to consideration and, now it's the time for a purchase intent campaign. It's all happening at the same time because you have consumers in different life stages of discovering a brand and purchasing at any given point in time. So what's coming first, whether it's spending on building the brand or performance marketing, I think really depends on, number one, where are you as a brand? Are you a new brand that somebody doesn't know about? You need to work on brand building. Or are you working in a category like Kohler, which is a high investment and low engagement category? And there, investing behind the brand will always trump short-term goals.
Yeah, and I think we do, especially in the agency world, we see a lot of, the consumer journey and funnels, and we do often think of those in linear terms, but quite often things like awareness are happening years before a campaign even. Riza, do you have...
I would say maybe in FMCG, this dilemma is like a day-to-day life drama that we face, the money that we spend in building brand, in marketing, in media, in other activities are sometimes being questioned. Okay, what is the ROI? If you spend that much on advertising, is it going to generate this much sales? And what's worse is that how many incremental sales that you're going to generate from that marketing investment or from that particular campaign. So it's a delicate situation that all of us marketeers have to manage, And what Shreya said and what the previous panel was connecting to was a very fundamental principle that we all must believe in our heart as marketeers and true brand builders is that building brand or develop brand in the long run will always provide a more sustainable way of business or continuity of the business itself. So that's why each company have what you call a marketing division like that. Because at the end of the day, the sales function or performance are day to day, month by month. But what a brand marketeers or a true brand marketeers, the purpose is to build that I will give you a reason why this business will exist in the next 5 years to 10 years because I'm building this brand for the long run so that our sales team 10 years later, 5 years later can still have a brand to sell like that. But of course, that's why I said it's delicate because as a marketer in a classical FMCG company or organization, then you're faced with this kind of demands or target day to day or monthly like that. So my take to that is that it also requires us marketers to be also a businessman, to be also entrepreneurs, because at the end of the day, it is the balance that we need to strike. And each organization, each brand, each business have its own what I would say the middle zone or the equilibrium, in Bahasa it's equilibrium, to define it, because at the end of the day it depends on where you are as a brand, where you are as a business, or even as an organization to a larger context, about setting this equilibrium. And I think the topic that we're going to discuss later is about this. What we need to have is a certain principle navigating this delicate situation, and there are certain framework principle and that we need to follow. But the balance between that idealism, that striveness as a marketeer, as a brand builders, versus that cunningness of a businessman, entrepreneurship, I think is what will make you be able to navigate this delicate situation.
Right, thank you. And you mentioned there that actually different brands will navigate this in their own way, and also Shreya hinted towards the fact that it will depend on the life stage of the brand as well. In the FMCG space, with some of the brands that you work on specifically, how are you balancing that?
Okay. Okay, so the first principle that I have been a marketer in FMCG for all my career. I started in Unilever, which is a very marketing-driven company, very heavy on brand building, and then I went outside Unilever. I work in other company which is more entrepreneur, which are more pragmatic also in a sense. And that's where I think I started to find a certain principle. For example, what is most important about brand building is that there's a minimum mindset that we need to understand, that I need to, at every opportunity, at every touch point where I can meet the consumers, whether it's an activation or as simple as a in-store POSM, where on primary shelf people saw some self-talker or some wobbler, then I need to get my message across. I need to tell people what my brand stands for. So even though, and back to the earlier topic about that adoption of that one big idea into specific messages, specific call to action, then I need to do that at every possible touch point. So that's the first principle that I always admire. So no matter I work in a company where loads of money of budget, a marketing budget, or a company where they have, in the name of efficiency, less money, less resources, but that principle I always try to bring to life. Always try to bring it and pass down what does my brand stand for. Because even though this advertising is talking about a buy one, get one promotion, but a message on a shelf talker, on a wobbler about my brand, then that gives me a chance to make the consumer, okay, if there are 3 brands offering buy one, get one, but this brand says something about certain claims, certain communication which connect to the shopper, then I have a bigger chance to be selected. Because at the end of the day, promotion, price promo is parity. Almost everything is parity. So that's the first principle that we need to navigate to find that ingenuity and entrepreneurship spirit that you need to reflect across every touch point. So that's the first thing. Second is about how we build the experience of the brand. So many of us have, for example, activation below the line. It's as simple as in-store activation. And that's where we can deliver what kind of experience we can bring to make that shopping of our brand, of our product, become a bit different compared to the rest of other brands. So there are others which we will try to build later, and maybe Shreya can also share her point of view about that as well.
So Shreya, you also mentioned that in high investment categories, and at Kohler, you're working with kitchen and bathroom products that are considered a luxury investment to a certain extent. The focus with these categories might be more skewed towards brand building. Could you expand on that? And also, for the luxury brand, is this conversation of brand building versus short-term conversion even still necessary?
Well, luxury is not just having expensive products, right? The consumers have to buy into the brand experience. You're buying into a brand story. So if that story has not been created or has not been established, that experience has not been established, you're not luxury. So just a high price point is not enough. It's about exclusivity. It's about, getting something that's not easily available. And I think that's why for us as a brand, creating those experiences at any given point is extremely important. So whether it's something that we are doing through our communication, it's something we're doing through how we create our stores, experience centers, even something like e-commerce for us. If you ever go on a Kohler Tokopedia page, you will first read about the brand's history. Like, we are 150 years old. That takes some doing, and what brought the brand to where it is before you get into really looking at the product catalog or prices. So brand experience, how it makes you feel, how it makes you feel when you purchase a product. I mean, are you proud having a Kohler bathroom? We're all proud about our homes, right? We're so involved at the purchase aspect whenever we're buying anything for our home. So it's really that we want Kohler bathrooms to be the center of your home, and that will only happen when we create outstanding experiences, and we lead with design and thought first.
Okay, and then I guess with what you're talking about here with experience, now we have access to so many different channels and possibilities through our communication, along with kind of constantly changing market dynamics. Is it possible actually that we can only do either brand building or short-term kind of communications? And do brands even make that choice? Is it a case of experience at every stage?
I think it's I will have to repeat what the previous panel said, Adam. It's a strike of balance between both. Because in building the brand experience, like what Shreya is saying, it's like in many categories, especially where I operate, baby and kids or the luxury, it's very important to have that capability to own the space in the mental awareness of the consumers or the prospective consumers in the early period, because by the time they're thinking about having children, then my brand will be in the share of mind. By the time they're thinking about certain occasion like the bathing, or they want to change bathing equipment, then they'll be thinking about Kohler. I think is because that's the fundamental of brand building, is to own a space and certain occasion and then consumers associated you with. And if you can be the one that is heavily associated, because you need to do that consistently, then you will win in the long run. But right now, yes, we also have to do the performance marketing, right? Because digital marketing, e-commerce has opened up that world where you can do things at the same time and cut short the stage of the what you call the journey, the consumer journey. I think you need to do both, but it's very important also to deliver that experience and still maintaining what you are stating or what you stand for in every piece of communication through creativity and also the content that are very relevant to this context. Because you can advertise something about a promotion or something about which, very tactical or drives short term, but it is this kind of creative that carry the brand DNA or the feel that when people saw a piece of content from Kohler is different from the other competitor, then I think that's something that is creating that moment of truth or meaningful, which can drive either short-term purchase or long-term brand consideration in the long run. But both in the era of digital and then the conversion where everything is connected to e-commerce, I think that's very possible, and omnichannel also make that possible, Adam. So you have to do both. You have no choice at the moment now.
Shreya, anything to add on that topic?
Actually, I also think it's about the consumer life cycle, right? You make a very good point that even today when somebody is going on e-commerce, they're also discovering. And yeah, the consumer need to first discover, then, basically do some, speak to some people, gain some trust about a brand experience, and then look at purchasing is not changed. So they are doing that in any given point in time. So today, you can look at any brand in any study. The discoverability is, even in digital, is moving away from search and moving towards e-commerce websites. That's where you're discovering new products, you're discovering new brands, you're discovering it through Instagram shopping. So it's not just like the way we used to do it earlier, that you do a great campaign and everything else will follow suit. Every touch point is, again, it's not in a linear fashion. You have people at different life cycles. There are consumers who have just started thinking about, they're about to.
Yes.
Yeah. Or they're thinking about, you know what, I want to renovate my house or I want to purchase a new house. They are looking for inspiration content. They'll have Pinterest boards, which will be all about beautiful bathrooms, beautiful kitchens. And then there'll be another consumer who has already decided that, you know what, I like these 3 brands, they speak to me. Now I want to go and experience their products more, and I will find the nearest or the most beautiful showroom where I can go touch, feel the products and actually purchase. And then there are consumers who are saying, okay, I need to just buy, my shower head broke, I need 1 shower head, let me quickly go to Tokopedia. Is the Kohler ad or, is Kohler discoverability great over there so they can instantly buy it? It's all happening at the same time.
Yeah, and I think I'd like to build that, Adam, that I think that's where the shift of mindset sometimes required from us or any marketers, whether you're a brand or agencies or even a performance marketing marketer, yeah. Because in today's world, you can build brand and convert them at the same time. And the journey can be very long if you make it very long, or you make it very short when you are able to found that moment of when are they going to buy or when are they going to consume specifically for that product. And that digital example that Shreya was saying was the right one also for even parents. A lot of today's parents are studying and their source of information are internet. And that's where we can do performance marketing, which is focusing on content and still delivering that expertise and building brand, and at the same time drive them to the official shop to make a purchase, because that's where you can directly calculate your investment on this piece of content and then the rich investment and then how many sales it generated like that. So it's a much more wonderful world that is providing to marketers now. It's up to us how we play it actually.
Yeah, it's quite interesting what you said about mindset, because often we think of things in terms of campaigns.
Yeah.
And we were discussing before about, Q1 campaign, Q2 campaign, Q3.
Yeah.
But I think for some brands, obviously that funnel of awareness could be many years even in advance.
Yeah.
And it reminds me, before I'd been working for Mercedes in China, and they had said that they're actually targeting consumers potentially 10 to 15 years before they're ready to purchase a car. And so they create experience centers for young professionals, for example, so that when they have the money to buy these cars, that brand is top of mind.
I think we completely subscribe to that philosophy, because if you look at homes, depending on which country you're at, you will be upgrading your kitchens or bathrooms every 6 years, every 9 years, and in some cases every 4 years if you're, in the West. So talking to the consumer from the beginning and creating those experiences that they say, okay, when I redo my bathroom, I want to have this look, is so important. And that's why even here we've created an experience center. You enter and the first thing you see is not a wall of products that you go choose from. It's about what kind of bathroom do you like. And bathrooms have been created using different styles and different inspirations, including working with local designers and asking them to design bathrooms of their dreams. So you will see everything from batik to bamboo to, concrete and stone. So, and then you can, even if you want, you can actually come and take a shower, get into a bathtub if you want to really know what products are like. And that helps us, consumers say, okay, you know what, I want this brand. And even if I can't have everything from Kohler, can I have one product today? And then my next bathroom will be this. This is what I want to take to my home.
Riza, you had discussed before when we were chatting also, this applies in the FMCG space as well when it comes to experience centers and things. You had something you wanted to share?
Yes, I think part of the long-term brand building is building experience, because that experience gets replicated and being developed consistently. In the FMCG companies, I think this experience is one of the most important. Even though nowadays we deliver this brand experience or brand engagement through technology, and digital has provided us the technology to reach out more to more and more people. And because back in 2009, one of the brands that I managed was creating a physical house to inspire women to be beautiful, like inner and outside. And then we understand at that time we had limit if we continuously build this physical space because it costs more, it's very expensive to operate, and the physical activation platform can only reach certain thousands of women. So at that time, we decided to bring that experience to an internet kind of experience, minus the physical massaging on fine, minus physical beauty treatment, because internet cannot give you that. The mouse doesn't allow me to make you beautiful through the click of mouse, things like that. But we can inspire, we can create that emotion. Same. So that activation has reached hundreds, thousands of women with the digital version of that physical house of beauty. So activation for FMCG is here to stay, and through this experience, we can deliver more type of what is about the brand idea, because at the end of the day, every brand has its soul, every brand has its own communication ideas, and we wanted to not only just do advertising, but deliver that through what they call a brand experience, because from that, when they experience the brand, they build that loyalty, they build the affinity, and the stickiness of the brand is also longer, Adam. So that's something that we need to do more and more. And related to the performance or the short-term goals, the key is also to use this experience as an activation platform where we can use it to engage shopper, both in stores, at its most simplistic form, let's call it a booth, but the booth cannot just be about selling. It has to deliver. It has to have some activation or activity that deliver the experience. And what we need to also bring this into the online world where we can interact and first of all reach out to more and more people, but also drive purchase, because conversion both happens at the online and offline. And usually the way to calculate the ROI for short term is, yes, you have an activation which costs you this much, and then the sales you're generating may be possibly not as big as the investment that you're making, but that kind of recruitment that you're doing, and then you multiply that by the lifetime of the consumer. For example, in 1 year they bought your this piece of glass three times, then that's what you call a customer lifetime value in 1 year. So calculating ROI also needs to change the method and the way we think about calculating marketing activation investment, if you relate it to the sales ROI as well, like that. So it's about actual sales, but also potential sales that you're maybe generating in specific time frame. It can be 1 year, 6 months. It depends on how you want to define it, like that. Thank you.
Thank you. So a slightly different question now, and I guess as we're starting to wrap up the discussion, and to make it a bit more relevant to today, with the current or future recession in mind, depending on how you see things, have you found there to be any internal pressures within your organization to focus on short term? Or has there been a deprioritization on brand building? And how do you deal with those pressures? Maybe, Shreya, you'd like to start.
Well, I think everyone's going to be extremely jealous of me here. So we are a 150-year-old brand. I think as a company, we have survived many recessions and many depressions and, well, now 2 pandemics. And the philosophy of the company still remains in investing for the future. We are still a family-run business. Founders' mentality is very much alive. And we do have, of course, quarterly pressures and monthly pressures, and we have to deliver on sales targets. But we are constantly asked to think about how we are investing for the future. So the conversations that we have are not just about this year, are about the next 3 years, the next 5 years. And as a company, because we are still family-owned, 90% of our profits are invested back into the business. That really gives us a lot to go by and experiment and, create things that you wouldn't necessarily do at any other time, because you'll be like, what's my reach? What's my footprint? Here we are saying, let's create beautiful spaces. Let's inspire people. Let's make people want to, renovate their bathroom today, or have like a outstanding kitchen that they can spend time with their family. So yeah, we're very lucky. So recession means more investment for us, and I think that is the company philosophy will continue.
Like how many companies have that recession more investment, that kind
you
of
can
philosophy?
Join us.
Because I think in my situation is the same but not the same. What we call delicate. In classical FMCG world, I think this is the hardest time to be a marketer also, because consumer spending are limited. Their spending of money are being fought, and we are fighting with competitors that sometimes just put things lower, put a discount and make things, even the whole category sometimes just, if everything goes up in one category, sometimes, how come everything is going down in here? Because everybody just put more promotion and 90% of your volume is bought on promotion only. So this is the toughest time for, especially in FMCG, where the industry is flat growth and consumer spending are becoming more limited. But I think it depends on the organization, Adam. And I think as marketer, you need to be more cunning and more entrepreneur in this kind of days, because your management will ask you, or will even instructed you that don't spend that money on this, but spend on this because it generates sales directly or support that sell out to the shopper. And when you're faced with that kind of situation, then, well, you have to follow, of course, but also please still have some idealism in it, because that's what differentiate marketer and the sales team at the end of the day, is that dignity and that idealism about, I still need to build that brand and I still need to pass down something. I need to get my message across. So even though all of your money may be being converted into a direct, tactical, short-term sales, then found ways to delight your consumers at point of purchase, even though, or point of conversion, even though that reach may be limited. Because from 1,000 stores that you're doing, maybe you can only cover 100 or 10% out of it, but you're going to delight at that particular spot, at that particular channel where we're going to meet the consumers, and I'm there to do some activation or some experience like that. So that's one of the principles that we're trying to survive in this kind of hard era, because we still need to delight the consumer, we still need to build the brand. And then e-commerce also provide this opportunity for us to be more cunning, because e-commerce allow us to be more flexible. And also the second thing is that we need to educate our management or our leadership about how we're going to measure the ROI. Not everything is about sales, but it's about the recruitment, it's about that engagement, it's about that you are able to convert one shopper from awareness to, from reach awareness and then to conversion automatically. So this is so certainly the classical way is that when everybody is focusing on sales, marketing will bring more KPI to justify the budget being spent in brand building. The KPI can be combination of many things, and that sometimes create the whole havoc. If you cannot convince them, confuse them, right? like that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and this was going to be a question, but we've run out of time, so it's just a point I think that's linked to what you were saying about return on investment in brand building. And I read an article recently with a long-term study on the effectiveness of more top-funnel brand building initiatives and their impact on short-term sales. And the results of that study was that actually brand building can deliver short-term sales, whereas more sales kind of conversion and sales-focused initiatives don't do the same in reverse for brand building. So maybe that's one way that we can convince organizations to keep investing. I think we're out of time, so thank you, Riza, Shreya, for your time.